It's not even about the dollar. Listen, my sister convinced me of this.
Okay.
They have everything.
Everything.
I was like, you can buy underwear and food in the same section.
Okay.
I
so-
hate shopping, by the way.
Fan, you can sign off now, but real quickly,
Okay.
I love the dollar store.
Yeah, you can sign off now.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Unlimited Access. My name is Levi,
Hi, I'm Shannon Ellsworth.
and here at Ursamin, we believe people, patients, caregivers, everyone can make better health decisions when they have access to all of the correct information, whether it be their medical records, wearable devices. It doesn't really matter if they have access to that. They can provide their doctors with the correct access to the limited things that they really need to give the doctors, and everyone wins. Okay, so real quickly, update. We are live. People can go on the website today and
Yeah.
click sign up.
are.
I know one specific guy needs to finish the landing page,
Yes.
the pricing page. I don't know
Yes.
who he is. He's a nice guy, though.
I don't know. Who is finishing the landing page? Oh, wait, we know.
I know. Okay, well,
He's a really nice guy.
he's a really nice guy.
so cool.
He's a great Uber driver.
He's a great Uber driver. He doesn't have time to do the landing page.
So there you go. I want to make sure that people knew that.
Yeah.
All right. So today, what I want to talk about is
And free trials, just so you know. There's a 90-day free
90-day
period. So you don't have to pay
Well,
anything. Just hop in and check out, pop around, give us feedback. We want as much input as we
all
can
right.
get.
So listener, I want you to understand that Shannon asked me to put together a landing page, a pricing page, and I said I'd do it, and I started working on it. But this is something we can solve on air here. Okay. So the pricing page, we wanted to make it right to left, right? Kind of
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
SaaS pricing page.
Yeah.
But it's not really like that.
It's not.
Now, if you think about it, there's like, you can pay for the individual,
Yeah.
then you can pay for the individual annual,
Yeah.
and then you get the free trial. It's all the same thing, just different. It's not like there's additional services and offerings as you move left to right.
That's the annual, right?
typically,
you don't sign up for the free trial. You shouldn't have a free trial.
It's like
it
a
should
90
just
days.
be an individual. You always can have. Yeah, the free
Typically,
trial
what happens is like there's an additional like thing. Like, so like if I go from this price to this price to this price,
correct,
there's
but
an
we don't.
additional
Yeah,
thing,
but
we don't have that.
Well, right.
So that's where I got stuck.
Well, that's not really complicated.
I was like,
It's just like
wait, what am I doing?
That's so complicated. You don't have to. Yeah, in some scenarios they say if you want to buy more services.
That's correct.
We're not going to do that. We don't. Now, at some point, we thought about doing. Hey, if you just want to store your stuff and you don't want us to pull your records, we'll do a separate level. But at this point, we're like, listen, we just want to get everybody in. We want to make this a useful platform. We didn't want to make it complicated. So it really should just be, hey, X this amount annual, show the savings that you'll get.
Right.
And then there should be an enterprise one. And then maybe on the bottom we put, everybody gets a free 90-day trial.
Well, and I think that's kind of what I was getting at. So it's more of a behind the scenes baseball, inside baseball kind of thing. But the reality is behind the scenes baseball. Well, it's baseball season kickoff. No, but if you think about it, what we're really saying, and what I'm hearing you say is like, no matter what service you provide or that you sign up with us, you're getting the best package. There is no like, yeah.
You're going to get everything.
You're going to get everything.
You're going to get everything. And what
That's
you
correct.
could do, if you wanted, you could just do two. You could do individual, and we just explain what it is, and then custom for the enterprise, for the provider.
That's
you just
correct.
have two.
That's
And then, like you say, everybody gets the same package at
That's
this point.
correct.
No reason to make it complicated.
Well, there you go.
Like that, just made it complicated.
If you want to see how awesome a boss Shannon is, that's her way of being polite to me for not finishing my assignment. Now, why is it so hard to find a primary care doctor in America these days? And so I found this article.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of different articles, but I'm looking at one from the Today Show, actually. And what's really interesting about it is there is a shortage, right?
Yeah.
And there's a shortage because of burnout. There's a shortage because of a lot of retirements happening and stuff like that. And actually, there are doctors, according to this article, fleeing to concierge type of medicine. I know
Yep.
my parents use that type of thing.
Yep.
And then it talks about how to find a primary care doctor. So what I wanted you to do is just kind of talk about each one of these three things separately, right? So number one, burnout. We've talked about it before, but it's got to be really hard for doctors, right? Especially
Yeah.
primary care doctors.
Yeah. So what's happened over the last, what year was it that I really started looking at the chronic illnesses? Just since 2005, the chronic illnesses have grown 37%. And I hate to say, but people aren't dying. We're actually really good keeping people alive. We've solved for the acute care. We've solved, cancer. People are living with cancer. People are living with these diseases. So as the rate of chronic illness went up and the number of people just kept living, the doctor to patient ratio has gone up, and these chronic illness diseases require more attention. So I did another research thing, and it was, the traditional patient used to have one appointment with their primary. Now they have 4 a year with the same number of doctors. So, and on top of that, the data being produced and the wearables and the EMRs that are trying to kick out data, the doctors are overwhelmed with the number of patients, the lack of tools to be able to manage it. And then you threw COVID on top, and it was just crazy burnout. And so those who were retired early. We can talk about that in a second. But yeah, so the burnout is insane, and it's most of the burnout is most of them. There's actually I saw this thing on LinkedIn. The suicide rate for providers is really high. The mental health and providers, clinicians, I should say clinicians. There's a shortage of 1 million nurses.
From like
we just weren't prepared. We weren't prepared as a society to handle what's going on.
Well, I think there's it's interesting, right? Because you meet doctors, right? And when they're going into med school, there's this desire to do good, and help society. Make a lot of money, but
it's two things.
And it's really hard to study in your undergraduate than the 10 years of doctor school, right? And then growing your practice, and it's extremely hard. And I would think it's got to be maybe less rewarding as people get more unhealthy. It's kind of like when I go to see my doctor, he's like, Levi, just eat less. It's a pretty simple solution. And
self-management.
Right?
Patients aren't taking care of themselves. And they're like, I'm trying to help you. I'm burned out.
Right. Isn't there just a pill?
Yeah, they're just a pill. Right, or like my dad, they'll do it. Like a lot of the older patients are like used to the old days where, the doctor would come to your house with the ether.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're like, well, they'll call.
Yeah. Hit on your knee.
And then be surprised. Oh, my knee. I'm like, well, if you don't get up and move, and they say, so your health is dependent on 3 things. Your own decision-making. 60% is your own decision-making. 20% is genetics. 20% is the doctor. So people come in with their 60% of bad decisions and say, doctor, fix me. And he's like, maybe you should move more.
Right. So I think there's like this idea of like the doctor, the burnout is coming from all these things, but even from just a simple like to be healthy in society is actually easier today than it's ever been. Yet we're passing the buck as a society to these doctors, making them do more.
And that's where chronic illness is coming, because we're creating, by the way we eat, we're creating these chronic illnesses.
Right. And so I think it's just got to be almost like self-defeating. It's almost like talking to my 15-year-olds, my kids, the teenagers.
It's depressing. Like, I don't know how.
How many times do I got to tell you?
Yeah, it's, listen, and that's why it's funny. My dad's doctor, I go in with him and he'll be like, oh, no, the parole officer is here. And I'm like, well, because he knows I'm going to be like, this is what he did and didn't do. And here's what I'm going to go make him do when we go home, because he knows I'm instrumental in making sure that my dad does what he needs to do, which keeps him healthy. But he can't control that. My dad, goes home and forgets it. So, yeah, it is. It's hard. That's why I say that suicide rate, the mental health issues, there's a really big fear on it. And it's 83% of the providers are burned out. 83%.
Well, on top of that then is this wave of retirements.
Yes.
Right? So, let's talk about that. So they're part of the baby boom generation also.
They are. And that was a plan. I mean, again, if you look at how we recruited clinicians, we recruited for a certain level of health problems. And even if you look at like Medicare and Medicaid, and I was reading an article, I always say that. Is everybody like when they're watching this? Shannon, we heard another article about, I do a lot of reading. I'm an information hog. I digress. So retirements, and we did not plan the right amount of healthcare personnel to address the problems that we have. And so when COVID hit, they were already burned out when COVID hit. And all of a sudden, all these mandates, you have to get vaccinated, you have to get this, you have to do that, you have to, you have to come in. They were firing people for not making a decision for the vaccine. And I'm not saying I'm pro or con. Don't make this political. But there was no, I've never seen a lack of, I've never seen a lack of, of empathy for this community who just took care of us for 2 years. And they were like, well, we can't make money if you don't have, because patients were crying about, everybody needs to be vaccinated.
Right.
And my sister's a good example. She got fired because she wouldn't get the vaccine, but she already had lung problems, and all the side effects from the vaccine were the lung issues.
I know.
So that stance, along with, the almost ungratefulness that we had to this community that took care of us during the worst time of our lives, was like, forget it. The guys that were going to retire probably would have stayed in a couple of years, just said, I'm out. Or like you said, they're going to concierge care, or they're doing some sort of side hustle. I don't want to call medicine a hustle, but they are. They're just like, screw it. I don't need this. And they've made their retirement plan, and they just go a little early.
Wow. Well, how would you recommend someone going about finding a primary care doctor then?
So you got to plan ahead, because you can't get into your primary care. My dad, who's a long-term, it's almost like a frequent flyer, like a Discover card holder. My dad has we can get him in anytime we need to. But getting a new doctor is, like my sister said, she couldn't find a doctor that would take her within 6 months. So you have to start looking. I would look for people who are using digital health tools. Virtual health is really good. A lot of these, they're popping up. WellNows, which is perceived as an urgent care, they're hiring, or they're buying primary care doctors. CVS, Walgreens, Amazon, all buying primary care doctors, and then figuring out how to help scale that and reach it to you in ways that
you're saying buying a primary care doctor. You mean buying or hiring?
Practices.
Oh,
No, they're
yeah,
buying
the
practices,
yeah.
so that they can push these doctors closer to you, and they're enabling them with tools that you can do online. Challenge is they don't have your health history. So you're starting from the ground up. That's why we're like, okay, here's an opportunity for us to get in there and say, listen, get your data as you're transitioning to some of these newer approaches. Because they're like, even like the millennials, they don't want to go into a brick and mortar building. They want to do an online visit. And to make that online visit meaningful, you have to have data, but a lot of these guys don't have the data yet because it's sitting in those silos.
So there's burnout, they're retiring, and the biggest sense of urgency, if I was a patient, is to go out and start finding one today. Don't wait, because when you do get sick,
get established.
When you do get sick and you don't have a primary care doctor, you can do that. And some of their unique opportunities as the world is changing is something like the WellNow business model, which is a little bit CVS. They're doing something a little bit different, so you don't have to do that.
So you don't have to go far. You just pop into your CVS, and they've got a primary care who can help you. But again, that's why you have to have your data too.
Public service announcement: do not move to my little village of Cazenovia. We are full. But I just walked to my primary care doctor.
Oh, you did?
I do.
Yeah,
my primary care doctor.
Kenny's might get into it.
St. Joseph's has a branch.
Oh yeah, I bet you they're packed.
And it's Dr. O'Brien.
Okay.
And my
little plug for Dr. O'Brien.
Dr. O'Brien
full. Probably won't take anybody.
He's full. Yeah, you cannot.
I'm established with my doctor. I couldn't get a physical for 8 months.
It's like that Seinfeld episode when the one guy trying to move to Italy, and they go like, "There's no homes for sale in Italy. We don't want you." There are no homes for sale in Cazenovia. You're not welcome. No,
do you have a Dollar General?
Oh no,
Dollar General just bought a primary care.
I said it's Cazenovia.
I know, right?
We don't have a Walmart or a Dollar General. It was hard enough for Aldi's to move into our village.
Yeah, right? Too snooty. They're too snooty out there in Cazenovia. For all of you people who live near Dollar General, I'm a huge fan of Dollar General.
My wife's a big dollar store fan.
Well, it's not even about the dollar. Listen, my sister convinced me of this. Okay. They have everything.
Everything.
I was like, you can buy underwear and food in the same section.
Okay. So,
I hate shopping, by the way.
Fan, you can sign off now, but real quickly, okay. I love the dollar store.
Yeah, you can sign off now. I just love the fact that I hate shopping. Probably I'm the only girl who hates shopping, but I hate it. So if I can go in and boom. That's twice now.
She's going to break it. Well, okay, good. So take action. Go find your primary care doctor.
Get your primary care established. Yes.
Do not
please
wait.
Do it. Let us help you get your data. You got 90 days to play around and let us help you and give us feedback. And yeah, shameless plug for us.
Shameless plug. And Casanova is a great town, and you're more than welcome.
Casanova is, but they're snooty, so make sure you're
We
dressed
are
properly.
snooty. You have to wear like penny loafers and stuff. I don't know what people what are people
Mary
wearing
Jane's.
boats?
On boats. Are those like boat shoes, I thought.
I live on the other side of the train tracks in my village, just to be very clear.
You're like, I'm in the ghetto.
I'm still an Uber driver. I'm not one of the yacht owners.
I'm a ghetto Uber driver. They probably look down on you in Casanova.
They do. They
He did
totally
run
do.
for mayor, though, or something like
did.
that. So don't let him
And I lost. So
underestimate
again,
himself.
at Ursamin, we truly believe that you will be more healthy. You'll make better decisions if you get access to everything. You put it in one place. All this data, all these medical records, everything's going to be in one place. And not only that,
Everything
with
you're-
clarity and education, so you understand what it even means. That just having it there is going to make you a lot healthier. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye.
Bye.